was a time when the financial world marveled at the genius of Charles Ponzi, the man who was in charge of one of the most successful business investments in America. He had millions of dollars at his disposal and crowds of people lining up, literally begging him to take their money. Little did everyone know that Ponzi's business was built on nothing but lies. The whole thing was an outrageous scam, one which turned Ponzi into a very rich man but ruined the lives of thousands of innocent people. Ponzi's deception was so shocking and infamous that even now, 100 years later, the scam still shares his name, the Ponzi scheme. This video is the untold truth of the man behind the scam and how to make millions of dollars with nothing but lies. Charles Ponzi was born in Italy on March 3rd, 1882. His father was a hard-working postman, and overall his family was financially comfortable, but it used to be so much more than that. Ponzi's grandparents and great-grandparents had all been successful businessmen, merchants, and public officials. The demotion to the working class really affected Ponzi from a young age and made him bitter and resentful. He wondered why he had to suffer for his family's failing fortunes. Why couldn't he have been born rich and enjoy a life of leisure without having to worry about a job or money? As a teenager, Ponzi inherited a modest sum of money following his father's death. He used it to enroll in college, as his mother had her heart set on him going to a prestigious college to get an education. But Ponzi had other plans. Instead of studying and going to class, he decided to burn through his savings by dressing in the latest fashions and eating at the fanciest restaurants in town. Then at night, maybe the theatre or the opera, or some gambling at the casino with his wealthy friends. Nothing was too extravagant or expensive for him. Ponzi liked to pretend that he was just like his rich friends and that he had endless money, but it was an illusion. And one day, it all came crashing down around him. His inheritance money finally ran out, and since his studies had been completely neglected, he had no chance of graduating. His uncle offered him work as a clerk, but the idea of finding a 9-to-5 job repulsed Ponzi, who considered himself too good for menial labor. He felt he had only one choice left: travel to America and strike it rich there. In 1903, Ponzi arrived in Boston aboard the SS Vancouver. He felt a deep shame in his heart that he'd let his mother down and believed that the only way to redeem himself was to return to Italy as a rich man. The only problem was he had no idea how to do that. America proved to be a much-needed reality check for young Ponzi. There was no more inheritance money and no more relatives to bail him out of trouble. As distasteful as he found physical labor, he had no choice. If he wanted to eat, he needed to work. Ponzi spent the next few years up and down the East Coast from New York to Florida. He worked as a sign painter, a waiter, a grocery clerk, a dishwasher, a factory hand, an insurance salesman, and a sewing machine repairman. None of the gigs lasted long though. Ponzi either quit because he hated the work, or he was fired because he tried to cheat the customers. This often meant he resorted to stealing or begging for scraps of food and sleeping in parks. It was a far cry from his carefree days as a high roller back in Rome, and even when Ponzi did manage to scrape together